Salakia, coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying. They're fasting. They're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive and diligent, and those that may be unmarried who tend upon the Lord without distraction, the children, the ancient men, and the elect of our nation and of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Kwam Yashala. It's another Monday Night Fire. Of course, again, giving all praises and all glory and all honor to the highest, Yahweh, Ba'ashima Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, right? We're going into when World War III meets Jacob's trouble. In lieu of what's going on the earth, major protests and uproars of the people in every major city throughout the world, not just in Babylon the Great, but also in other continents, Europe and Asia, right? Even in some parts of the land of Ham, Egypt and other parts, you have massive riots, you have massive protests, you have massive uproars of the people. These things Yahweh Shah spoke of and prophesied. Ezra spoke of these things. The Most High has been written that these things will come to pass. And we have to understand that as these riots and protests increase, and as war also increases, because if you're watching both of these things on a same trajectory. You're watching war get closer and closer and closer to World War III, right? As you see Iran take more accountability for what they're doing in the so-called Middle East, as you see America sending warships, China's sending warships, everybody's pretty much getting active, man. So if you're watching the prophecies, you're seeing war slowly ascend. But you're also watching, and if you're keen and observant, and you've been studying the prophecies, you also know that Jacob's trouble is inevitable. And these things are both going to happen through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Right? Now let's go to the book first and foremost, right? One of my favorite precepts. Let me pull up the Apocrypha. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. Right? And we can't get tired of reading 2nd Ezra chapter 9, right? We gotta keep going into it. Right? Why do y'all keep going to 2nd Ezra 9? Why do we keep talking about measuring the times? I know that precept. I know that scripture. Well, we got to keep going into it, man. Right? It's the premise and the foundation for your salvation. So you can understand what's going on. Right? It's a major account. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and 1. It reads, and brothers that watch the Monday Night Fire, you ought to know this scripture by heart, man. Right? We go into this just about every Monday. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we're measuring the time, and we're thinking about, and we're watching war increase. Yahweh Shah said there will be wars and rumors of wars, right? Yahweh Shah spoke of these things, man. And we're watching and seeing, hey, look, these things, actually, let's go to Mark, right? These things were written of old, man. And now is really the time to really be into these prophecies. There's always time to be in the prophecies, but what else are we really going to go into right now, man? Yahweh Shah has put it on our spirit to talk about these prophecies, war, impending judgment, Jacob's trouble, doomsday, deliverance, salvation, because that's what the Most High Spirit is on right now on the earth. We have to be in tune and in sync with Yahweh Shah's spirit on the earth right now, man. And if the Most High is putting out war and prophecy, then we have to be in that same spirit. If you're a prophet or you're an apostle or a servant of the Most High, you're going to speak what the Lord has said, man. Right? Let me get this in Acts 4 real quick. Right? I got a few precepts lined up. So, like, this is Acts chapter 4 and verse 19. But Peter and John answered and said, actually, I'm going to start at 18. And they called them and commanded them not to speak at all, nor teach in the name of Yahushua. Right? Because the name of Yahushua was so prevalent on the earth at that time, it was stirring up spirits, man. They were healing people. People was being raised from the dead. The lame were being able to walk, right? In the name of Yahushua, when in his ministry, and when the apostles carried the torch, they were shaking the earth in Judea at that time. And it caused somewhat of contention between the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, and the apostles, and those that followed them, right? This is immediately after they raised the man from the dead and the Holy Spirit. Raised the brother that could walk, right? Who sat at the gate. Right, and immediately after that, before that, Salakia, it was Pentecost. So the name of Yahushua was stirring up spirits like it is now. But Peter and John answered and said unto them, whether it be right in the sight of God to hearken unto you more than unto the Most High, judge ye. Because they told him, look, don't teach in the name of Yahushua anymore. They said, hey, look, do you think it's right to listen to you or to listen to the Most High? Well, I want you to make that decision. That's what he told them. Here's the point. For we cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard. And that's the spirit the apostles were in, man. That's the spirit that we are in. We cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard. What are we seeing? We're seeing warships go down to the Persian Gulf. We're seeing warships go down to the so-called Middle East. We're hearing that this thing is going to increase, man. That war is going to increase. Battles are going to increase. Missiles are going to increase. We're watching more uproars of the people. We're measuring the times. And I mean, we can't but speak the things which we have seen and heard, man. We have to. That's what the apostles was on. And if you're in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, that's what your conversation is going to be about. Right? That's what the spirit of the Most High is on the earth right now. And again, if you're a servant of the Lord, you have to be in tune with that spirit. Now it's not the time to be talking about Purim, huh? Right? You're doing a 5-hour lesson on Purim, the secrets of Purim. There's no sin in talking about Purim. It's a beautiful high holy day, man. And all praise to Yahweh Shai Shai. Now it's not the time to be really you're just talking about Abraham's feet. Okay, Abraham's feet. Okay, in Genesis, the 18th chapter, when the 3 angels came, was Abraham's feet covered or was they uncovered? No, I mean, we have to speak about the things which we have seen and heard, man. Right? It reads, so when they had further threatened them, they let them go, finding nothing how they might punish them because of the people. For all men glorified the Most High for that which was done. Right? For that which was done. So this is the spirit that we definitely want to be in. All right, let me get right in here. Shalom, King. Yahweh Shemi Al-Shabbat. How about Shema Mashak? Right, let's get another quick precept. Right? Hey, if we stop speaking, man, and stop going into this, it's over for us. Even the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and 16 on down, woe is me if I preach not the gospel. Right? This Job 13 and 18. Behold, now I have ordered my cause. I know that I shall be justified. Why are we going to be justified? Because we're speaking thus saith the Lord. We have ordered our cause. We have went through the precepts. We have been inspired by the Most High. The Lord has given everybody watching this live the Holy Spirit to understand the truth. And our cause is not of man. If it was of man, we would be unjustified. But if our cause, if we're pleading Yahweh Bashmel Shai, then we have no other choice but to be justified if we're speaking thus saith the Lord. Right? Who is he that will plead with me? For now, if I hold my tongue, I shall give up the ghost. You see that? What if you just held your tongue and you're watching missiles drop? You don't want to say anything. You're watching FEMA camps being created. You don't want to speak about it. right? You're seeing guillotines being ordered. You don't want to talk about it. You're watching Iran send ships down and send soldiers down, but you don't want to say anything. You just want to hold your tongue as if nothing happened. Well, Job said, if I hold my tongue, I shall give up the ghost, man. And we fear the Most High. If we stop talking about what the Most High is doing on the earth, like the apostle said, we can't but speak and see the speak about the things we have seen and heard. If we hold our tongue, and we'll die, man. We're bound. We're bound by the ministry that the Most High has given us, right? So we have to go into what the Most High is putting out on the earth, man. That's why we're constantly, especially in this time, right? We're constantly going into these topics and, charging Israel to repent, get your spirit right, come back to the Most High, last days, the end of the world, the prophecies are unfolding, because that's what the Most High has put on earth, right? You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. And I'm going to start off with Ezekiel chapter 2 and verse number 8. Right? Ezekiel chapter 2 and verse number 8. It says, but thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like the rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. Right? So the Most High is going to give you the right things to eat at the right seasons and what to eat. Right? Like the brother was going into. Now is not the time to do in-depth secrets on something that's out of season. You have to really focus on what's the matter at hand and prophecy that's unfalling on the face of the earth. It says, but thou, son of man, hear what I shall say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. So the Most High is going to give you what to read, what spirit to be in, right? What to do. The Most High is going to show you everything. It's not as if you don't know what to do. It's not as if you're just on the earth and you have no idea what's going on. The Lord has given you the prophets. He's given you the precepts. He has given you dreams and revelations. It says, and when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written therein, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. So Ezekiel's ministry, it was lamentations, mourning, and woe. Meaning he had to literally prophesy the destruction. He had to go into it. That was his spirit and his ministry and what the Most High had given him. And he had to speak that. If he didn't speak that, like the brother was saying, he would be going off. The Lord would have compared him to the rebellious host, but him not speaking the same things the Lord gave him to speak. Right? I got another quick precept. Job chapter 7, right? In verse number 11. Right? It's the mighty book of Job chapter 7 and verse number 11. It says, therefore, I would not refrain my mouth. So if there's righteousness to speak, if there's prophecy to go into, if there's scriptures to read, there's counsel to be on, you can't hold your mouth. You would be off in evil to hold your mouth when you can speak righteousness, expound the living waters. The Lord said, therefore, I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. So what a World War III is going on, you have to prophesy that. You may have the anguish type of spirit about all the things that are going on the earth, and you have to speak about it. It says, I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. So, Job said, look, I'm going to complain. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to hold my mouth. Right? I'm going to yell. I'm going to scream. I'm going to get this out, what the Most High has put in my spirit. And that's how you truly tell if the Most High is really dealing with you, because you can't tell a prophet he can't prophesy. Right? He'll lose his mind. He'll be jacked up. Yeah, a true prophet has to speak, thus saith the Lord. Right? You may have a basketball player, right? For instance, if you don't let them shoot basketball for a number of days or weeks, they'll lose their mind. You have to feel the same exact spirit and way about speaking, thus saith the Lord. You got it, King.
God, and I'm gonna get a quick precept on that. This Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 7. Right? Oh Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. So Jeremiah was being mocked, ridiculed. He thought that he was deceived because he thought that the ministry would be easy. It would be a cakewalk to go out there and he would just simply teach Israel would listen, and everything would be, peaches and cream. It didn't work out like that. So he thought he got deceived by the Most High. I said, well, what did I sign up for? Right? For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me and a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. So Jeremiah said, I'm done. All this teaching, this prophesying, going out telling Israel, telling them the judgments, what the Most High is going to do to them. I'm done. It's over. I'm out. He said, I'm not making mention of the Most High anymore. But what happened? But his word was in mine heart, as a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. Right? So Jeremiah said, hey, look, even though my flesh wanted to stop doing the work, my spirit wouldn't let me. It was something burning inside of you. Something just like, I got to go out there. So there was nothing that Jeremiah could do. I mean, there was nothing. He was programmed. The Most High said, what do you think you're doing? Kind of turned up that spirit, said, don't you know you're a prophet? Didn't I tell you that I ordained you a prophet unto the nations? Right? So you might be somewhere feeling some type of ways, the flesh getting to you. Then the Most High said, hold on, what? He kind of turned that owl up, or that dial up, like the stove, man. The stove got the different numbers. It got 1 through 6 or 7, man. Some got 8. You kind of turn that flame up a little bit. And the Most High did that to Jeremiah. The Most High does that to his servants, man. Right? He will turn up that spirit, and it's a fire that was shut up in your bones, but the Most High can release that fire. And he said, I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. So he started getting weary that he wasn't teaching. He started getting weary that he wasn't out there doing the work. That's what made Jeremiah weary. Forbearing to do the work of the Lord and forbearing to prophesy was eating him alive. It was really killing him, huh? It was stressing him out. We get worn out from work, for bills, stress, exercise, whatever. You get worn out. Jeremiah got worn out when he wasn't doing the work of the Most High. And if he didn't do the work, he would, his body would have shut down. He wouldn't have made it. That's the spirit that you have to be in these last days. Right? That's the spirit that you have to be in. Right? I got one more real quick. This is 2nd Ezra, right? Chapter 15 and verse 1. It reads, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord. So the Lord told us straight up what to do. He didn't say speak about giving us alms and tithes. Right? We do a whole Monday Night Fire on giving us alms. Here's my personal email, my personal Cash App. Here's my phone number. Here's my so-called work number. We just want to do an in-depth breakdown on how to do 10s, 20s, 50s, how to do it, go into your direct deposit, how to go into your savings account, open up your 401k plan. Do you have Fidelity? Do you have, what life insurance policy? We're not going into that, man. We're not going to do an in-depth breakdown on Hebrew life insurance policies. The Lord says, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Everybody has a curriculum. Teachers, they have a curriculum. If you're a math teacher, the superintendent and the board of directors, they tell you this is what you have to teach. You're in the 3rd grade, you got to teach long division. Now they can say, look, no, I want to do calculus. Hey, look, I want to do algebra. They say, look, teach them this. And they got to do it. If word get out that they're not teaching them what the board of directors told them to teach, they're fired, man. And they could lose whatever license they got, and nobody's going to hire these guys anymore, right? We have a curriculum, man. The Lord said, hey, teach them, go into the prophecy. Now, if we stop going into the prophecy, we keep saying we're going to be fired, man. Then we're going to be destroyed. This is a commandment. Just as important as not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. This is not a suggestion. It's not optional, right? It's what he told Ezra. And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So don't worry about people scoffing at you, not believing, they mocking you around this so-called holiday season about not being into Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. Don't worry about that. Don't let that stress you and get you down. Why? It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, because they're not going to make it anyway, man. Right? You got it, King.
Con, that's right. Right, I'm gonna go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse number 16. Right, 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse number 16. It says, "For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me." Meaning it's a necessity. It's a necessity for you to eat every day. Because if you don't eat, you understand you're going to eventually wax weary and you're going to give up the ghost. You can't go 3 months, 2 months without drinking water. It's a necessity. Certain things in your life you have to do. You have to breathe and breathe out air, or else you will give up the ghost. Hey, Paul said the necessity of teaching this truth in the gospel is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me, meaning death and destruction, I will literally inherit if I preach not the gospel. So you have to preach the gospel of God. And the gospel isn't just always talking about just redemption. You have to go inside of the prophecies and prophesy the destruction. That's literally a part of the gospel. It says, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. If you willingly go inside of the prophecies and teach them, thus saith the Lord has everlasting life for you. All you got to do is take that. And the Most High is giving you the knowledge to be able to go inside of the prophecies. Everybody can't go inside of the prophecies. Everybody has no idea what this book is actually talking about. It may say something about a dragon, may say something about horns, right? It may say something about death and woe, and people, losing their minds trying to figure out what this book means, and you have the knowledge to go inside of it and expound it and teach it. It says, but if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me. Right? I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, and verse number 26. Because the Most High, Bahashim Yahushua, he bound Ezekiel's mouth. Right? Meaning he shut it up. And he only opened it when it was time to prophesy. Now imagine if the Lord shut your mouth. You can't speak your own words, your own actions, your own feelings, your emotions. Can't speak about how your day was. You can't go inside of foolish thoughts and desires that you may have had. But when you open your mouth, it's time to prophesy. Time to speak, thus saith the Lord. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 26. I will make my tongue, right, cleave to the roof of my mouth, and thou shalt be dumb, and shall not be to them a reprover, but they are a rebellious house. But when I speak with thee, meaning when the Most High comes and put the Spirit on you, I will open thy mouth, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord. So Ezekiel was bound until the Lord opened his mouth. And when the Lord opened his mouth, he was speaking, thus saith the Lord. And if you know anything about prophesying or teaching, sometimes it's impossible to cut it off. Right? Brother may say, okay, let's wrap it up. Right? It may be cold outside. Right? Maybe nobody outside. Maybe nothing going on, but you just can't stop teaching. You may not have a subject to go into. You just want to praise the Most High's name. It says, but I speak with thee. I will open thy mouth, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, he that heareth, let him hear, and he that forbeareth, let him forbear. They are a rebellious house. Meaning no matter the outcome, if nobody's listening, it's not unprofitable. Still teach, thus saith the Lord. You got it.
God. And like we went into measuring the times, if you're measuring the times and you're watching, right, and you're watching the prophecies, you're seeing that things are heating up. You're seeing that things are heating up, right? Now, again, like we always say, the Most High can always cool things down. The Most High can do what he want to do, right? Yahweh Shai do what he want to do. It says all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. And he doeth his will according to the army in heaven. Right? And none upon the earth can say, what doest thou? Paraphrasing. Daniel the 4th chapter, man. 35. Right? So the Most High can do what he want to do, but what the Most High is doing is he's brewing up war in the so-called Middle East, man. Now you have China has reportedly deployed multiple warships to the Middle East region after the United States deployed 2 carrier strike groups. So you have ships down there. First of all, you got the so-called Israeli down there, his army and his Iron Dome. Then you got Gaza and the so-called Palestinians. Then you got America with warships down there. Now China's sending warships down there. Now Iran is saying, hey, look, we want to get active too. It reads up to 6 warships, and this is what multiple sources, right? We just pulled this one up. Up to 6 Chinese warships were reportedly deployed, including 2 Slovakia advanced O-52D destroyers. The news comes as the United States has prepared to deploy more troops to the region. That's what they're talking about. The hot topic in the army right now, or amongst Biden and their so-called military, is that they're sending more troops, and they plan on sending more troops down there because they just attacked the military base. They said nobody died, but they keep attacking these bases. And it's like, here's the quote: I will continue to assess our force posture requirements in the region and consider deploying additional capabilities as necessary, said Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Right? So he said if they keep sending warships, we're going to keep sending warships. You see that? And it's a quick visual of some of the capabilities of these warships, man. You see these missiles they shoot off. They can shoot missiles. They got turret guns, anti-aircraft destroyers. So they got China down there now, man. And look what's trending. Lo and behold, right? You go to the right of the screen. What is trending on the earth? World War III. Why is World War III trending? I didn't even know that. Why is World War III trending on the earth? Right? Because the Most High is making it trend on the earth, man. Because it's actually trending in real life. Right? Let me just click that real quick, Salakia, and see. See that? There's over 20,000 posts about World War III. 20,000 posts about World War III on the earth right now. Right? You got it, King.
Khan, you should be excited that these times are coming to pass, right? Because, I mean, you may have came into the truth and things are just moving, right? You got to perceive and understand through the Spirit you're living in the end of the world, right? I want to get this quick precept in Jeremiah chapter 5. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse number 28. It says, they are waxing fat, they shine. Yeah, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause, right, of the fatherless, yet they prosper. And right of the needy do they not judge, right? It says, shall I not visit for these things? So the Lord said, what you think I'm not going to get up with you? You're doing all of this atrocity and crime and murder and wicked and unjust dealings. Shall I not visit for these things? And then the Lord is going to visit the earth. And when he visits the earth, hey, the Lord said in Isaiah chapter 42, I have a long time hold my peace. Meaning the Lord don't really got to judge you real fast every single time. He'll let your crime stock up, your wickedness, your murder, your unjust dealings, all your unjust laws you pass. He'll let all of these things build up for a weightier destruction. It says, shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? I mean, you don't think the Lord going to avenge for a nation that's doing all of these type of things? A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesied falsely, and their priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so. And what will ye do in the end thereof? Meaning, what are you going to do when I get up with you? When I judge the land? When a wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land, and the Lord send bombs and destructions and nukes and all type of things to overthrow you. Because that's what the Most High is going to do. He's going to judge this earth for all of their wickedness. You got it.
Con. And we're keeping watch. Right? We're keeping watch. right? I don't want to put nothing out. It's looking like something major is so-called happening, but we don't want to just put it out there and be presumptuous, right? So we'll kind of hold on to this information, right? We'll kind of hold on to this. But let me get a quick precept real quick, right? Let's go to the book of Luke, right? 21, right? Luke 21 and verse, I'll get straight to the point. Luke 21 and verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Why did the Lord say, but the end is not by and by? Because as you hear of wars brewing on the earth, it doesn't mean that immediately as you start hearing of wars, Yahweh Shah is returning. That same second you start hearing of wars. When you start seeing a commotion, let me go into this word commotion. Literally, you're hearing of wars and there are commotions on the earth. We go into this word all the time, right? The word commotion in the Greek is akatastasia, right? I more than likely butchered that, but akatastasia, right? Now, here's what it means. Instability, a state of disorder, disturbance, or confusion. A tumult. What do you think all of these riots are between the Palestinians and Israelis, man? Everybody on the earth is faced with two decisions. Are you pro-Israeli or are you pro-Palestine? Right? That's the number one decision point on the earth right now. Right? And we counted one by one and found out the account at the harbor on several occasions, and nobody really wants to talk about it. Everybody, I don't want to talk about it, or that's a touchy subject, because it's instability on the earth. Every major city, Chicago, Baltimore, DC, New York, LA, London, Paris, Belgium, you have riots and instability on the earth and tumult between what's going on in the Middle East. Yahweh Shai said that would happen. He's really prophesying of these riots that you see going on in the earth, man. That's instability and a state of disorder. It reads, and we'll show you through the Spirit how this potentially could tie into the Hebrew Israelites, man. Right? Because all of this goes into anti-Semitism. If you're not pro-Israeli, you're going to be labeled anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic, right? And they're going to potentially, right? Potentially, they're saying they're locking up everybody that's going against Israel. All of these people that are riots are getting fined, they're getting locked up. Anybody that's against them, and you get caught out there speaking against it, you might be thrown in that same category, right? So this is all brewing up for something major, not just in the Middle East, but in amongst his ministry, right? That's why you have to constantly watch. But let me read this one more time. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. So don't be all shaken up. Oh man, what if a missile hits me and I'm driving to work? Oh well, we're not worried about that. We look forward to these things. We are excited. The Lord said these things must first come to pass, meaning when you study the prophecies or the chronology of prophecy and the order of prophecies, hearing of wars and commotions is one of the first major prophecies of the end of the world. And then you have other prophecies that happen after that. This one is one of the first things. It's a prerequisite. And the Lord said, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right? Kingdom against kingdom. You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. And that's beautiful through the Spirit that we witnessing that, man. I'm going to just keep saying that over and over and over. These are the things that, you know, our forefathers have prophesied about that's coming to pass in these very times, man. Right? This is Iraq, chapter 36, in verse number 2. Right? It says, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. So this is a beautiful prayer. Yeah, we pray for health. We pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, we pray that we're perfect in the eyes of the Most High in the day of judgment. But we also have to pray for the downfall of our enemies. That's a part of this truth too. You can't be in this truth and secretly want the welfare of your enemy to continue to prosper. Because you're subconsciously saying you want your people to continue to be in slavery and death and oppression, mentally and spiritually, right? Corrupting us, what we eat, our mind states, right? Our cogitation, we can't even think for ourselves, right? Damn programming, right? We got to get back to our first estate. As thou was sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us, and let them know thee, as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, O Yahweh. Meaning, let them know thee like we know. We serve a God that has earthquakes, windstorms, tsunamis, right? Volcanoes, right? The Lord will plague your mind and give you over to delusion. A lot of these heathens don't really know the power of the Most High, like the prophets and the servants of the Lord do. It says, shew new signs. What does it mean, show new signs? Meaning, shake the earth up, that man may know that we're living in the end of the days, that the heathen have but a short season to continue to reign. Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Right? I believe, brother, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He said it was an eclipse not too long ago.
Yeah, they had an eclipse last Shabbat, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. That's showing strange signs. Eclipses, blood moons, right? All hell breaking loose. The Lord showing a bow. Hey, the Lord doing everything on the earth. You just have to be in tune with the spirit and the elements to witness these things and know these things and what these actually mean. The Lord is speaking once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. It says, make other strange wonders, glorify thy hand. The hand of the Lord is his strength, right? So he smite with the fist, man, and shake things up. And thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Raise up indignation and power, out wrath, and take away the adversaries and destroy the enemies, man. So that's what the Most High wants to happen upon the earth, for our enemies to be destroyed. Right? I got one more precept through the Spirit. Right? I got 2 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 27. Right? 2 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse number 27. Right? And it reads, it says, gather those together that are scattered from us. So we need to be gathered back in the last days. Right? You shouldn't be worrying about folly, foolishness, and madness. You should be gathering around with your people, getting ready for the end of the world, getting spiritually ready for all hell to break loose. Gather those together that are scattered from us, deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred, and let the heathen know that thou art our God. Punish them that oppress us, and with pride doeth wrong. So this is a prayer that the righteous are saying in the last days. You know, we need to be gathered together, right? We need to come together. We need to understand who our enemies are. And we want the Most High, to do what? To destroy them and punish them that oppress us with pride and do us wrong. You got it, King.
Yeah, and I'm watching and listening, right? They're saying this just a random right post, right? With so many, because World War III is trending, right? Like we pull it up on the screen. Let's pull it back up. Let's see. World War III is trending. Now, what they're saying is potentially one of the ships, USS Carney, may have been attacked, right? I mean, we're watching it. We're monitoring it. It's unconfirmed. We'll see though, right? But nevertheless, World War III is trending. Now, somebody put, with so many people thinking, posting, listen to how flesh and blood is. They tweeted, with so many people thinking, posting, and talking about World War III, at this point, we may as well have literally spoken it into existence. Well, you didn't speak World War III into existence, man. The Most High said World War III is going to happen, man. The Lord spoke World War III into existence. Oh man, we spoke that. No, the Most High, the prophets. And did not Jeremiah, what did Jeremiah say? Right, let me get this real quick in Jeremiah chapter 28. Right, Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse, I'm going to start at 7. It reads, nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So Jeremiah knew the prophets that came before him. He knew about Noah, Enoch, Elijah, Elisha, Isaiah, Hosea, Amos. All those men came before him. Huh? And he knew their track record and what they spoke of. It's written and documented. And what did the prophets prophesy about? They're the ones that spoke it into existence because the Most High put it in their mouth. And they saw visions of war. They saw World War III before it even happened. It already happened in their visions, in their dreams. And they prophesied against many countries, not few. It's not just one small country that the Most High is just against, and they just point the finger at that country. No, they shake their hand at many countries and great kingdoms. America's a great kingdom. China's a great kingdom. Iran is a great kingdom. Russia's a great kingdom. The Most High is prophesying against that, of war and of evil and of pestilence. See that? So you got war and evil on the earth. So it's not man speaking that into existence. It's the prophets, man. The Lord said the prophecy came out in old time by the will of man. In 2 Peter 1:19 on down. But holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. Right? The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. It's written. Right? And it's like Psalm 68:11 on down. So the prophets are speaking this into existence, man. Now, what you see on the earth, and we're going to go back and kind of look at this World War III trending, right? You have people, you have even Elon Musk, you got Kim Jong-un. Everybody knows that World War III is starting, right? Tucker Carlson looks like we're headed for war with Iran. Of course, the Biden administration is pushing us in that direction. Elon Musk, I think we are heading towards World War III. Everybody knows it except Jake. The average joke or Joe, right? Slakia, the average Joe, they're worried about the NFL, man. College basketball, college football, the latest album sales, the Grammys. You know, your mind is bad, man. The Most High is pushing war on the earth, and you're worried about madness and folly. Let me get one more real quick. Right, I was meditating on this precept today. It's Jeremiah chapter 45 and verse 2. Thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, unto thee, O Baruch. Remember, Baruch was the scribe of Jeremiah. Thou didst say, woe is me now, for the Lord hath added grief to my sorrow. I fainted in my sign, and I find no rest. Because, Jake, you'll complain. You'll worry about things that you got to deal with. Oh, boy, my bills. Oh, woe is me, my rent. Oh, woe is me, my car broke down. Oh, woe is me, my job. Oh, woe is me, I don't have a wife. Oh, I faint. Oh, I sorrow. I don't know. Right? You're always complaining about what you got going on a day-to-day basis. But what did the Most High say to Baruch? Thus shalt thou say unto him, the Lord said thus, behold, that which I have built will I break down. The Most High built America. He's about to break it down. Right? And that which I have planted, I will pluck up, even his whole land. And seekest thou great things for thyself? Seek them not, man. So the Most High, he's telling Baruch, hey, get out that mindset, man. Woe is me. Oh, my rent. Oh, my bills. God, help me. Right? I need a new pair of shoes. I need a new car. A lot of Jakes are seeking great things for yourself, man. The Most High told Jeremiah, this place is going down, man. Or told Baruch. What are you talking about, man? Where's your head at? He said, you're seeking great things for yourself. Seek them not. For behold, I will bring evil upon all flesh. That's what we're thinking about, man. So this is a reality check, man. Jake, that's what the Lord said in 2 Ezra 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man and put off now the weak nature. Right? He says, seek them not, for behold, I will bring evil upon all flesh, saith the Lord. But thy life will I give unto thee for a prey in all places whither thou goest. You see that? So as wars on the earth, man, the Most High, he's telling what spirit that you need to be in, right? But you got it, King.
Con. Right, I'm gonna go to the book of Psalms, chapter 7, and verse number 12. Right, Psalms chapter 7, and verse 12. And you need to stay in the spirit too. You don't need to get into it, for a second and then you just die down. You got to continue to keep watch. That's what a true watchman does. He watches in all type of seasons, in all type of times and weathers. Right, this Psalms chapter 7, and verse 12. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. And the Lord is whetting his sword and getting it ready. The Lord has an armory. The Lord is Yahweh of hosts. The hosts are the angels, right? The Lord is a man of war. So the Most High is with war on the earth. He's not with just peace and love and happiness and dancing and clapping and all type of parades and dancing. The Most High is a man of war. And in war, people get killed. People get taken captive. People get thrust through. Right? People get sawed asunder and God worse, man. So, in war, it gets very, very brutal. So these things that you witness on earth, you get on Twitter, you see these things they're not going to show on TV, these up close and personal clips, babies, limb missing. I saw, I don't know if that was, I think that was Palestine. They was, Salaki for the language, but they was pissing on some Israelis, man. Their dead bodies, literally.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, you seen that?
Yep.
See, all hell was breaking loose when war is really on the earth. It's not a time to be sensitive, right? The Lord said, "Let me get this quick precept." And Jeremiah, I'm gonna come back to them, right? Right. It's the mighty book of Jeremiah, chapter 48 and verse 10. Right. It's Jeremiah 48 and 10. It says, "Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully." Right? You being sneaky. Right, you offering up a goat when you're supposed to offer up, whatever case may be, a lamb, and you're just being deceitful. You're having different bags and weights, right? You're not doing the work of God the way you should, right? You're supposed to do this, but you're actually doing that. That's the epitome. It says, "And cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood." Meaning, when it's time to go to war, you can't be that man that say, "I got to worry about my vineyard," and you run away. Right? You can't be that man that just hides. But the Most High can't use you. The Most High has called you a soldier in 2 Timothy. So you have to move in the spirit of a soldier. Because a soldier is going to take command. A soldier is going to be ready to die for the Lord. And he's put that same spirit on these earth with these different heathens. They're ready to die. They're ready to blow themselves up. They're ready to do whatever it takes to defend their country and their so-called religions and their customs. They're really ready to risk it all, man. Their well-being in their life, because they don't have no say-so in that land. You got war going back and forth. You got tanks, people, uproars, right? You got people breaking into stores and taking food, right? All hell and monarchy is going on. It says in Psalms chapter 7, verse 12, "If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He have bent his bow." And bending the bow is getting ready for those nukes, right? Them ICBM missiles to drop and hit the earth. Meaning they're already bent. They're already aimed in the right direction. You think they're in some type of barn or shed or tucked away somewhere? No, these nations, they have these bombs and these men on call, and they're ready. It says, "He have bent his bow and made it ready." So it's ready for an appointed season and time. If you're getting something ready and it's already ready, meaning you don't have to warm it up. You don't have to get these things together. It's already ready. It's already showtime. He have also prepared for him the instruments of death. So what is World War III and the nukes and ICBM missiles called? The instruments of death. And then they're going to nuke whole cities, nuke whole streets, take away states. These instruments that the Lord, through the hand of these scientists and these men, right, have created instruments of death to wipe out whole cities. I've seen on Twitter, they blow up whole hospital buildings, man. So when these things are bent and they're actually shooting, they're going to utterly obliterate everything that's in his realm. It says, "The instruments of death, he ordained his arrows against the persecutors." You got it.
Con. And this is mindful. I was dwelling on the precept, the classic, in Matthew 24 and 36. right? It reads, but if that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So we can't pinpoint the exact date of our our deliverance and the return of Yahweh Shai, right? But the Most High did give us the ability to understand what season we're in, right? The Lord gave us the season, but we may not understand the exact millisecond of when Yahweh Shai is going to return, right? The Lord even said, "You can discern the face of the sky, but how can ye not discern these times?" Right? What is that? Luke 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's probably there too. There's one
Yeah,
in Matthew 16 too.
yep, 16. Luke 12 and 54. It reads, and he said also to the people, when ye see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway ye say, there cometh the shower, and so it is. Yeah, you can see a rain cloud come, and you prepare yourself, right? You get your umbrella, right? You may put a jacket on, put your hoodie on. You may change your plans and say, I'm gonna stay inside for the day. It's gonna be a thunderstorm, right? You can see physical things and do the right preparation, right? Verse 55. And when ye see the south wind blow, ye say there will be heat and it coming to pass. Yeah, you can feel that heat wave coming, man. You can check the index and say, look, it's going to be 98 all week. Let me prepare, right? Let me make sure my AC is working. Let me get some ice, right? Let me do whatever. Let me change my wardrobe. Let me make sure my coolant or my AC is working in my car, whatever, right? You can predict these things on a physical level. Ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that ye do not discern this time? How can people not discern that this is World War III brewing up? How can we not discern that this is the end of the world? How can we not discern that these are the last days, man? You see it happening. The same way you see a rainstorm, a cloud coming. The Lord even said in Job, the cattle discerneth the vapor thereof, paraphrasing. Even the cattle and the cows know when it's about to rain, man. Even the beasts of the field know what's going on. They hide themselves, man, and they go into their dens. Right? Let me get one more real quick. Let me get that real quick. And it's like I want Psalms 104. Quick precept. All right. Even these beasts know what to do, man. I keep putting 14. Right? Bears, they hibernate, right? When the winter's coming, right? But what is man into, man? What is man into? This is Psalms chapter. Actually, that's not what I want. I want Job 36. Salakia. That's it. But I want Job 36. Verse. Let's see. Let me get this precept. You got it, King.
You want to start at 33?
No, I want he sealeth up man. He sealeth up the hand of man. Right?
We'll bring this up.
Con.
Right, like the brother was going into, right? This Jeremiah chapter 8. You got to be able to discern. And that's where a high level of discernment comes in, right? It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 8, and I'm going to start at verse 7 in the readings. It says, yeah, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times. So the stork is going to know appointed times and different things, right? When to do a business. It says, and the turtle of the crane, the swaddle observe of the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of the Lord. Meaning all of these animals, like we're going into, they can discern and know the signs, the seasons, right? The thunder, right? That north wind blow to the south, and all of the animals, they leave and hibernation and different things like that. These animals, they're in tune by what the Most High has going on the earth. And then they can know, right? Birds know when to leave, right? They know when it's about to rain, right? Different animals know when to get into shelter. But it says, my people know not the judgment of the Lord. You think it's a slipping accident. You think, oh, it's World War III talk again. Oh, here's Biden. Are you worrying about the wrong thing? You're looking about how old he is and him slipping up on his speech. and joking about it, not really realizing what he's saying out of his mouth. Right? Jake just want to make jokes all day and have fun all day. They never really realize things are serious. When are you going to take life serious? When are you going to realize this life is not about games and fun and you and idol worship and the things that you possess, that you want, and your desires? It's about getting your spirit together, serving the Most High, keeping these commandments, and being ready for our Lord Yahweh Shai. Right? Let me get this quick precept too. Right? This second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 20. Because Jake don't never want to remember the signs and no want to regard the signs. This second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 20. Right? I'm going to start at 19. It says, behold, famine and plagues, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So the Lord is telling you what they're sent for. He's letting you know. He's giving you the key. You can't say, well, I don't know. What is this really about? No, the Lord is telling you straight up and down. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourge for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. Meaning, how many times the Lord got to beat you? How many times does the Lord have to strip from you different things in your life? How many times does the Most High have to judge you? When are you going to get it? Like the Lord said, I have smitten thee in vain, right in the book of Jeremiah. How many times are you going to take it? How many times until you wake up and understand, you know what, this isn't a game. This isn't a joke. How many times must the Lord warn you about World War III? How many avenues have you been warned? On the YouTube channels, on the highways and byways, on Twitter, on 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock news? I mean, how many times must the Lord give you what he's going to do on the earth before you say, you know what? This man, this woman, he's not of me. Because if he would have heard the things of my prophets and the voice of the Most High, it says, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. How don't you turn from wickedness when you see famine on earth? That sounds like it's impossible. When there's no food, it's plagues, tribulation, scourges, war. And for all of that, certain people ain't still not going to turn from wickedness. Nor be always mindful of the scourges. Meaning their minds too far in this world to realize that there's scourges and things happening and to take it serious. Because their minds too wrapped around their own pleasures. You got it, King.
Con. And I wanted to get this in Job 37. Right, Job 33 was good, but this is also Job chapter 37 and verse 5. The Most High thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he which we cannot comprehend. For he said to the snow, be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain and to the great rain of his strength. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. And that's what the Most High is about to do. When it says he sealeth up, when you seal something up, you stop it, right, from moving or from working. You may seal up a leak. It may seal up something that's dripping, and you stop it from flowing. When the Most High seals up the hand of every man, is speaking of man may be doing this thing, he may be working. When the Most High start talking and putting storms and rains and floods on the earth, man can't do nothing. Right? Man has to go inside when it's a thunderstorm, huh? Right? Man has to go inside when it's a blizzard. Whatever work you was doing is sealed up, it's over with, huh? Even the animals is about to tell you. So the Most High is about to seal up the hand of every man. Every man that put their hand into being an athlete, every man that put their hand to being a businessman, every man that put their hand into being a rapper, you put your hand to being in corporate America or starting your own business and being a millionaire, whatever. Or you just want to live your life, man, in wickedness. The Most High is about to seal up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. The same way the Most High shut man down, and you have no choice but to hear that thunder. You got no choice but to see that lightning. You can't do nothing else. You can't go outside because the Most High is against you at that time due to the elements thereof, man. When the Most High start bringing war on the earth, the treasures of hell that it speaks of in Job, famine on the earth, right? A potential draft. Every man's hand is going to be sealed up, and all men are going to see the work of the Most High, right? It reads, then the beasts go into their dens and remain in their places, right? And man is going to do that. That link up with Ecclesiastes chapter 12, right? The sound of the grinding is low, and everyone is shut up. The doors are shut in the streets, paraphrasing. Just like a regular storm, all the beasts go into their dens, right? Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. So the Most High, he brings storms, destruction on the earth, and the Most High puts man in a predicament or in a situation where man has no other choice but to witness what the Most High is doing on the earth. And that's what the Lord is about to do, man. All of this stuff is about, whatever you put your hand to is going to be shut down. Like the Lord said, turn your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Whatever you was plowing and working on in your day-to-day life to maintain the state of the world, it's about to be over with, man. It is about to be over with. Now, I want to pull this up real quick. Now, this is what's going on, right? This is from the ADL. Let me pull this up. Salakia. We stand with Israel. So, in the midst of war brewing up, the main player on the earth is the so-called fake Jew, right? And America is putting out, or Babylon the Great is putting out, the narrative of, if you don't stand with the so-called Jew, the Israeli, then you are going to be classified in that label of a terrorist group, hate group, or you'll just be simply classified as anti-Semitic, right? It reads, ask President Biden to provide energy security funding for houses of worship, because America and Israel are like, I mean, that's their number one customer, man. Prostitutes have usuals, right? You got the guy who get off of work every day at 6 p.m., and he go to the whorehouse, man. They make jokes with this guy, right? You know, he's asking for damn what's the damn prostitute name? I don't Brittany, man. You know, every 6 p.m. he's asking for Brittany. That whore and damn Joe, they deal with each other every day, man. Right? She knows what he's gonna ask, man. America's that same whore, and they number one customer, they number one bed partner is Israel, man. Right? It reads, anger over the Israel-Gaza conflict can seep into American society. You see that? So this pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, they're saying it can seep into American society in the form of anti-Semitic harassment, assault, and vandalism. Join ADL, that's your Anti-Defamation League, and asking Biden to request $500 million in emergency funding for the nonprofit security grant program, right? And the point that we're looking into is, if you don't stand with Israel in this war, right? If you are against them, then you're going to be in this anti-Semitic harassment, assault, and vandalism category. Now you can say, well, no, that's just the Palestinians. No, that's not. That's just the Palestinians for now, right? For now. But Israel, you brothers that teach on the highways and byways, you've always been in this thing, man. You've always been in that category. You've always been in that anti-Semitic harassment, assault, vandalism group. So they're going to tie all of that in together, man. And right now, like we went into earlier, they're arresting and labeling these guys terrorists, man. They're saying that they're sleeper cells from Hamas in America. So you got to be watchful, right? And see how these devils are operating, man. Because when you study the prophecy, Jacob's trouble is going to be happening during the time of World War III. It's not like you have World War III is over, then 5 years later is Jacob's trouble. Or Jacob's trouble, then 10 years later is World War III. Those prophecies coincide with one another. And you have to see what's going on with war and understand, hold on now. If World War III is brewing up, that means persecution's about to brew up. That's what the topic of this Monday Night Fire is, when Jacob's trouble, or when World War III meets Jacob's trouble. Because prophetically, they will meet. Right? But you got it, King. I want to pull something up. I know you probably got a precept or two.
Come on. All right, I'm going to get this quick precept. in Isaiah chapter 46 and verse number 10, right? Isaiah 46 and 10, it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done. So if you want to know what to do and what's going to happen upon the earth, read the scriptures. Get in tune with the prophecies. The Lord's going to let you know what's going to happen before he does it. He's not just going to do something on the earth and did not relay it to the servants, the prophets, because they're the voice of the Most High. They're going to the ones that speak for the Most High by the precepts. It says declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times. So if we're living in a time of distress and trouble and World War III brewing up and the persecution on the rise, then we should already mentally prepare ourselves. It's not as if this day is going to come as we wake up, right, and it's just going to come out of nowhere. You didn't know anything was going on. There wasn't no commotions, wasn't no uproars, wasn't no bombs. Nothing was happening. They just grabbed you up out of your house. No, the Lord is preparing you right now through the Spirit to get ready. You know how you might prepare for a test? They say, all right, on the 23rd, we're going to give you a test. Or by the end of the semester, it's going to be a pop exam, right? You got to make sure that you're ready, right? You're sitting up there, you're studying. You know it's going to be a pop quiz. So you have all this time to prepare yourself. The Lord has given you all of this time and showed you what's going to happen upon the earth for you to mentally get yourself together. Because you're going to be a pilgrim on the earth. Everybody's not going to be able to dwell comfortably in their houses, to maybe be with their spouses or even their camps, right? Things are going to get serious to where it's going to be a duress of people and it's going to be spreading abroad. When you look at these nations, especially in Israel, when those bombs are dropping, everybody's going left, right, up, down, in cars, out of buildings. You're not going to have the time you may think you have to be with the brothers you're with now or your wife, right? Everything ain't going to go in your mind. Your mom may say you're going to be holding your wife's hand. Then in the other hand, you got the Bible. You're going to be praising the Most High. And then you're just going to ascend. It may not go like that, brother. It may go out of nowhere. 15 people bump into you in your rib. And next thing you know, she's lost. Next thing you know, your child, look behind you, she's gone. Next thing you know what hit the fan. You got to be strong in that. You can't give up and wax weary and weak mentally. Because it's really going to boil down to your faith and your mindset in these last days. It's not going to be based off of your boots, right? Do you have terrain, right, to stomp through the hills and the muds? That's not going to matter if you have a flashlight or not. It's not going to matter if you have rope and a big lighter. These are not going to be your essentials to save you. It's going to be your faith and your mindset on your Lord, right, and how you feel towards him, right? And it's grace and mercy that's going to be bestowed upon you in the last days. It says from ancient times that things that are not done, saying my counsel shall stand. Meaning don't get scared at the end of the days, because the counsel of the Lord is coming to pass. You can't stay the Lord's hand. Death is on the way. It says, and I will do all my pleasures. And one of the pleasures of the Lord is to have death upon the earth. One of the pleasures of the Lord is to have earthquakes, uproars of the people. This is the Most High's design. If you love the Most High, you have to love the things that are prophesied that is going to come to pass, right? Let me read that last part again. It says, my counsel shall stand. I will do all my pleasure. That's a pleasurable thing for prophecy to come to pass in the eyes of the Lord and for the heathen to be destroyed. Right, you got it.
Con. And I want to pull this up. This is data on anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. since Hamas attack on Israel. Now, you had major persecutions of Israelites in the ancient world, right? During the time of Nero, during the time of Aurelius, during the time of Claudius, when he commanded all the Jews to depart from Rome, during the time of Diocletian, right? You had a lot of major times of persecution in the ancient Roman Empire against the Jews, or what they call the Christians, right? Now, it was always something brewing up. Let me see if I can get out of this. What is this? Salakia. Here's a map of attacks, right? Since October 7th, allegedly, right? Now they got this key: harassment, vandalism, assault. So what they're saying is, since October 7th, what is that? 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, you've had all of these harassments and attacks going on to the so-called Jew, right? Now, we don't know if it's going to happen or not, but, you know, they could very well blame Israel for one of these things. When I say Israel, I'm speaking the brothers that do the work of the Most High. Now, I really want to look and see what's going on this side. All right, let's see what's going on. See that? A student harassed the Amalekite about war. They're reporting all of this stuff, man. They're reporting every so-called anti-Semitic incident. They're documenting it. The ADL, right? What else happened? A swastika was drawn in the parking lot of a high school. That was on 1010. What else happened? The words "Free Palestine" crossed out stars of David, and swastika were drawn in DC. More swastikas in North Bethesda, right? Rockville, Maryland, graffiti, Salakia, saying "Free Palestine," right? What else going on? 1013, a synagogue was targeted with a bomb threat hoax. Another bomb threat hoax in PA. Somebody said "Hell Hitler" in PA. Look at this. An individual yelled, "Damn you, Amalekite," blank at an Amalekite, right? So, and they're recording this stuff. Now they got assaults going on. A group, this 1018, right? A group of Israeli individuals was harassed, and at least one individual assaulted by a pro-Palestinian protester in Times Square. Right? One more. Let's see another one. And they're documenting this stuff, man. Right? A car with individuals holding Palestinian flags appeared to intentionally swerve out of its lane, nearly hitting a visibly Amalekite family. Right? I'm just thinking, if brothers are out there doing the work and you start getting on Amalek, they might start documenting that too, man. Well, they will start documenting that. They've been doing it. Right? And all of these are allegedly incidents that happen. And I want to see something if they had to damn, look at this. Middle school. It's everywhere. Quote unquote, "Get off the base, you dirty effing Jew. I hope they kill you all." Right? So you gotta, hey, look, man, you gotta watch. Right? You got it, King.
Kind of getting on the fake Jews, man. Right? Let me pull this precept real fast. And that's exactly what's going to happen in the last days, man. Right? Right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 2, and verse number 1. Right? And it reads, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" So it's going to be a lot of commotions like we're reading about. The heathens are going to be raging. And we're going to be one of the main culprits, like we're going into, of what they're going to blame. Because, I mean, how many brothers on the highways and byways, not necessarily our camp, but just amongst our nation, have said, you know, Amalek's going to die, or, you know, this or that. And, you know, they're going to really take that as threats, especially when certain people start getting pulled up, grabbed, locked up, shot at, and these things start kicking off. You're going to have ammunition by what brothers have said on video to be held against them.
Right.
Because if they don't have any culprit or anybody to bring in, who do you think they're going to bring in? Those people that have been so-called threatening them this whole time. Right? Saying, if you don't do this, this is going to happen, or whatever the case may be. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointing. So they're going to have councils come together that are going to be taken against the Lord and his anointing, meaning the Israelites. And those councils aren't going to just be about cigarettes in the hood, man. The councils ain't just going to be about putting Christianity churches on every single block. Right? These councils is how we're going to defame their name in the last days as they rise up and as they come into power. It says, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from among us. And that's really talking about multiple things. Because as we're coming into power, don't you think they're going to try to break our cords? As we're gathering together, as we having Hebrew summits, as brothers are waking up, as camps are continuously growing amongst the nation, as all type of brothers are waking up in Africa, London, Brazil, right? All types of parts of America. You don't think they're going to try to take counsel? You'd be a fool to think that Esau doesn't know what's going on right now. They have a camera in every pizza shop. They have a camera in every Walmart and CVS. They have surveillance in every school and hospital. They have surveillance on the poles when you're walking your dog. So his eyes are everywhere. So to think that he's not watching, he doesn't know who you are and what you're doing, and he's not already trying to be 7 steps ahead of you, that would be a foolish thought. Even in the Most High is 7 steps ahead of him. He's going to be having counsels and certain things to put us in a situation where we so-called incriminate ourselves so that we could be brought to trial. Because when you think about it, let me get this last precept. In the book of Matthew, the Lord said we're going to literally be on trial and judgment seats. What do we do but teach? I mean, what did we possibly do? The brothers kicked down at the White House with all type of weaponry? No. Will brothers do that? No. What are brothers really doing? Right? We would have to be doing the same thing we're doing now, which is teaching, thus saith the Lord. It's going to cause such an offense and an uproar amongst the people that they're going to have to be taking us in. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse number 18. I'm going to start at 17. It says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. So you got to beware of men because they're going to be delivering you up in councils. You got spies, men, unjust men and wicked men unawares, just like it was in the time of Paul and Yahushua. It says, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my name's sake. Why would we be brought? Governors and kings don't look at silly matters like a cat was stuck in a tree. They don't care, some candy bars was taken. Right? To be brought before kings and governors is a serious matter. That's life and death. That means the offense that you're doing is not just corrupting you amongst the city, but you're an enemy to the state. So they have to bring you before the top men, these kings and governors. It says, for my name's sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak, right? For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. It says, and the brother shall deliver up brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall raise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. He told you what for reason. He didn't. It's not a mystery why you hated. You're simply hated just because you praise the true and living God of Israel. Not because you did an offense, not because you went off, not because you did a crime, simply because you're reading, thus saith the Lord, and giving a sense out of the Bible. And when they start banning these Bibles, it's going to be as if you have an AK-47 in your hand. It's going to be as if you have a bomb. Let somebody walk into a mall and they have a bomb. Security will be all over them. People will be trying to arrest them, grab them up. It's going to be the same spirit, right? When you're walking around teaching, thus saith the Lord. Who got it?
God. And I mean, this is big, man. This is a big deal, right? Let me get this in addition to Esther, right? Because the Lord said that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past, right? This is addition to Esther, chapter 13 and verse 2, right? It reads, this is King Ahasuerus speaking, right? Giving an account of his letters, right? After that, I became Lord over many nations and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness. I propose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life. So he's telling you about how he runs his kingdom in his own mind, right? And making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast to renew peace, which is desired of all men. So he wants to establish peace He wants, the Persians had a tolerant government, right? And kingdom where you could serve your own God, right? You could build your own temple, serve your own idols. You didn't have to forcibly serve Darius and Cyrus, right? So he wanted to establish peace in his realm. Now, when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, Haman, that excelled in wisdom among us, and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity, and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there were scattered a certain malicious people. Now he didn't have to say this, but he's an Edomite. To bring peace about a kingdom, he could have said, hey, look, let's take a poll, right? Let's do this for the people. Let's feed the people. Let's give them water, right? King go from city to city and check on the people. He could have gave any counsel. But him being a demon, the devil that he was, he used it as an opportunity to transition the kingdom into the Greeks and, more importantly, to overthrow Israel. So here's his counsel, right? Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there were scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so that as the uniting of our kingdoms, honorably intended by us, cannot go forward. So he said throughout all the earth, there's these people that have their own laws, and they're contrary to their own laws, or to our laws, right? Which is true. Our Sabbath day, the Passover, the high holy days, the dietary law, we're peculiar. That's what the Most High said. So we're not like these other nations. If we seeing then, we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected to our state, working all the mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established. So they said we're working mischief, man. This whole thing was designed. Wars are designed, man. You have elites, what the world calls the Illuminati, right? The King of Babylon and Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they fund and create these wars, man. War is a moneymaker, right? And the number one enemy, like the brother said, are the Israelites, man. Don't be fooled. Oh, it's Hamas. Oh, it's the Iranians. Oh, it's the Egyptians, right? It's the Arabians. It's Al-Qaeda. No, the number one enemy everybody has always known on the earth are the Israelites, man. From the time we came out of Egypt, man, till now, there have always been countless counsels against Israel, man. So them creating this war and potentially segueing it as an opportunity to overthrow the Israelites is all by design. This was by design. When you read Esther, when they cast lots from day to day and month to month, man, on when they were going to destroy the children of Israel. This war, this is all to get rid of the ministry, man. But they put it out there on the forefront as if it's just some great war in the Middle East, man. It's to get rid of Israel, and the Most High is doing it to usher in it's like your Armageddon, right? Now, let me pull this up real quick, because what you have, this is a heat map, right? They have the ADL heat map, which is hate, extremism. Where was the heat map during slavery times, man? Right? Hate, extremism, anti-Semitism, and terrorism. So they have a map, right, that tracks all of this stuff. Now, check this out. They divided up anti-Semitic incidents, anti-sodomy incidents, white supremacists, extremist murders, terrorist and plots, extremist and police shootouts. All of this is just, we want to filter all that out. You can filter all that out because that's just smoke and mirrors, right? Nobody's really concerned about that, man. The number one threat we want to look at are anti-Semitic incidents, extremist murders. Well, let's not look at that one yet, because there hasn't been any account. And terrorist plots and attacks. So when you look at this map, right, they give you city by city, and it's color coded for every anti-Semitic incident. And hold on, let me take out this. And every, let me zoom, man. And every terrorist plot and attack, man. So look, you can look it up and look at a city near you, right? Look at a city near you. And I looked at this earlier. There's one in Baltimore, right? There has been 8 anti-Semitic incidents in 2023 and 1 terrorist plot and attack in Baltimore, man. Right? So this is not a small matter. This is not a small matter. Now, I don't know these 8 incidents, right? They might, like the brother said, they might start adding camp as incidents, man. Every time you get on Amalek, you pull Revelation 2:9, 3:9, Numbers 24:16, all these precepts. They may start tracking that as an incident, man. You know? But you got it, King.
Come. Right? I mean, if they're already doing this on YouTube with certain things you can and can't say, it wouldn't be far stretched or, crazy to put into play that if we were to say these things, that it would be a federal offense, man. Or it would be a crime, right? Punishable by death, right? That you must not say X, Y, Z. Right now, that'll put a different fear on certain brothers that aren't truly prophets and aren't really in this ministry and ain't ready to die for the Most High, right? I'm going to get this quick precept in Acts. It's Acts chapter 24, right? And I'm going to start at 5, and then I'm going to jump, right, to 25, right? It's the book of Acts chapter 24 and verse number 5. We have found this man a pestilent fellow. So they're bringing up all the accounts of Paul. Now, Paul didn't do anything. All he did was teach. But they're classifying him as a pestilent fellow. Right? When you got a pestilent thing in your house and that bug and it's all in your way and you're getting angry, right? I mean, that bug is minding its business. But its mere sense of it existing is making you mad. Right? We're just minding our business, teaching ourselves the Lord in this society. And they're just going to classify us as pestilent fellows, right? We're the ones getting on everybody. This world wants it to be free. Like people say sometimes when we be teaching out there, I'm a free spirit. Meaning you just want to do whatever the hell you want to do. Whatever comes to your mind is what you're going to manifest by your actions. Right? Like you could do gay parades. You could do all type of wickedness, pedophilia in the streets, and us not saying anything about it. America just wants wickedness just to be as it is and everybody bat an eye to it and dive into their customs and all be one in a cesspool of wickedness. It says, for we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. Right? So it's as if we're ringleaders on the streets when we march. We're ringleaders in the streets when we sit up there and we give the sense as we teach. And we prophesy and we go to city, the city, the city, the city. Right? Jumping down to verse number 25. Right? I'm going to start at 24. It says, and after certain days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, which was a Jewess, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Yahushua. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled. So what did Paul really do? All it says he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come. That's not an offense. That's not anything off. Felix trembled and answered, go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. So it's really nothing they holding them for. Just because the Jews are losing their mind, right? They're bounding them up. It says in verse 26, he hoped also that money should have been given him of Paul. So he wanted to do unjust dealings. When Paul was locked up, he was hoping he got some money under the table, that he might loose him. Wherefore he sent for him the author, right, and communed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Felix, right, came into Felix's room. And Felix, willing to shew Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. I brought this out to show you how corrupt this system actually is. There's no honor in the law, in this man's law. There's no honor in being in this man's society. There's no honor in his government. It says, to willing to do the Jews' pleasure, he left him bound. Meaning these men in these states, these governors, these elected officials, right? These princes, these kings, they're not going to go even by their laws. And they have corrupt laws, right? They're going to want to have money under the table. They're going to want to leave you bound. While you sitting up there screaming for a lawyer because you didn't do a damn thing, what do you think the spirit of the so-called white man is going to do? He's going to want to do his superior's pleasure. And he's going to leave you bound. You in distress. You having no type of lawyer or no type of trial. He's going to give you over to destruction. And while you're waiting for a lawyer and a trial, you're going to literally be waiting for that guillotine. You got it.
Come on. And I want to show this on the just pull this up real quick. This is what they got trending, man. Right? Joe Biden wants you to get drafted, man. Right? You know, he's on vacation right now. He's on vacation. He's at the beach. The world is collapsing, and his mask is falling off. He's being exposed. The wicked being revealed. That was spiritual. Then shall the wicked be revealed. It's like you. Damn potential draft coming. Right now, I mean that thing could very well be true, man. Right? Let me get this precept real quick in Acts. It's Acts chapter 16. Right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 16. And I'll start at verse 20. It reads, I'll start at 19. And when her master saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace and to the rulers, and brought them to the magistrate, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city. And teach what's troublesome about teaching repentance? How is that exceedingly great trouble? Teaching salvation. Right? Teaching about us being the Most High's chosen people. Right? But they said these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city, man. They're documenting what you're doing in the city. Every incident on against Amalek is being documented now publicly. They have a heat map. And if you get too many offenses, and they might start coming after you, man. Right? Let's see if I can zoom out. I don't know how to move in this map. Right? Salakia. But see if they got a list. So they tracking this thing, man. Right? They're tracking these incidents. But the Lord said, and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. Right? So they charged them with going against the government. Right? You're going against the Constitution. You're going against the Declaration of Independence. You're going against America's laws of liberty. Every time you say that people are going into slavery, America's going to be destroyed. That's called sedition. The brother just went into the precept. That's literal sedition. When you incite people to rebel against a monarch or a government, man. These riots, these Palestinian riots, are sedition. The Hebrew Israelites doing the work of the Most High, they're going to charge that with sedition. Because we're teaching things that the people don't want to be out there, man, that they don't want out there, which are not lawful for them to receive or observe, being Romans. Yeah, you're telling them not to celebrate Thanksgiving because it's the Feast of Tabernacles, or don't do Christmas because it's the Feast of Dedication, or don't eat pork because it's unclean, or separate from your enemy. They're going to bring all that up, man. And what did they do to Paul and Silas? Let's jump down. And the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. And when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison, charging the jailer to keep them safely. Who? having received such a charge, thrust them into the inner prison and made their feet fast in the stocks. So these men was cast into prison, man. Right? And at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto the Most High, and the prisoners heard them. So we keep reading about our forefathers being cast into prison. Yahushua was cast into prison. Daniel was cast into prison. Azariah, Mishael, Hananiah, they were delivered up, man, for serving the Most High. It's not a matter of if, it's really a matter of when. When is it really going to go down and you can't go out there in the highways and byways anymore? You can't wear your fringes at your job. Certain jobs, they know you're an Israelite, man. They know what you do. You know, outside of work or inside, they know these things. Eventually, a line is going to be drawn in the sand where enough is enough. And if you're associated with this pro-Palestine or Hebrew Israelites, then that is an offense. A criminal charge, sedition, inciting to rebel, domestic terrorism, etc. Right? You got it, King.
Come on. Right, I'm going to get the book of St. John, chapter 15, and verse number 18. Right? That's what it is. Right, and I wanted to get this too. Right, so I can bear with me. So they got hate speech, right? It says abusive or threatening speech or writing that expressive, right, prejudice on the basis of ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or similar grounds, right? So that's what they're gonna hit you with, hate speech. And then hate speech and sedition, these are going to be one of your many charges that they laying against you.
Right.
That hate speech, man. And there's nothing hateful about speaking thus saith the Lord. And everybody claims to love the Lord in this so-called nation. They're just hypocrites, right? This is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 18. It says, if the world hate you, we know that it hated me before it hated you. Meaning you know that what you're going through isn't anything new. And it's beautiful that the Lord has carved the way that you may know you understand what's ahead of you. Because it'll be even harder for us as a people if we didn't know what was ahead of us. If we didn't know the persecution was there, pilgrims on the earth, famines, right? And nobody has endured and showed you what it is to overcome. It'll be even harder, right? Our forefathers, some of them didn't have the accounts that we have to this very day. It says, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. And the world hated Yahushua, right? But the so-called white man beat Yahushua, man. Read the book of John, the 19th chapter. It says, if you were of the world would love his own. Meaning you wouldn't worry about these certain things if you was in the world. Somebody said, well, they're going to crack down on hate speech. They're going to crack down on everybody that doesn't have the jab. They're going to crack down for everybody talking against the society. Certain people are just going to be right at home. Well, I have nothing to worry about because my mind and my soul is in this captivity. It's in this realm. It's in this damn society, man. But those brothers that are removed out of this thing, that are really in the truth, those brothers going to know what's ahead of them, man. It says, if ye were of the world would love its own. And think how the world loved you when you were in it. How you was a basketball star, may have been a cheerleader, may have been that brother that was doing excellent. He was on honors or whatever your little thing was in the world, they loved you for it, right? It says, but because ye are not of this world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. I'm going to read that last part again. But I have chosen you out of the world. That's it. Just because the Most High chose you. Just because the Most High chose you to prophesy and to move in his image. They don't hate you. They hate the image of the Lord. That's like you, right, doing the same thing and reading off of a script. You got certain people, it's this actor, I don't know his name, but he on Power, right? I think his name is Tyreek or something. You know, he getting death threats, right? People are trying to jump him, right? They say, man, I hate you, I hate you. He had to come out and say, look, man, this is just a character. It's not, I mean, come on now. He done took the image of this character, and now people are really trying to hurt this man.
Wow.
You got people like certain roles they play, like Debo. Right now, he's just the infamous bully forevermore because he took on that image. We take on the image of the Most High, and we're hated for it. We take on the image of righteousness, love, right? Rebuking, teaching, doing everything seemingly that Yahweh did, and we're going to be hated for it, man. It says, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. Meaning you're not going to be able to have it good and the Lord had it bad. There's nothing that you're going to do to be able to escape the same path that our Lord went through. The servant isn't greater than his Lord. Meaning what the Lord went through, damn sure the servant will have to go through. You're a servant. If anything, the Lord would have had it easy. Right? The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Meaning what? The whole earth doesn't know the Lord. Because everybody is going to hate you. It says all nations, all people shall hate you for the name of Hamashiach or Malak Yahushua, because none of this world knows him. That's why how special we are as a people, and how gifted we are, how the Most High truly dealing with us, that he's chosen us to go through the fire and has handpicked us for everlasting life in the kingdom. So remember these things in persecution. Because who was the Lord talking to? He's talking to the 12. He was talking, when these things have happened to me, just know that it's going to happen to you. And when did it happen? When you read about it in Acts and other parts. Happened to Matthew, happened to Mark. These men were persecuted for doing the work of the Lord. Happened to James, got killed by Herod. All of these things have transpired to the ones that have followed the Lord. You got it, King.
Come on. That's right. And I want to pull this up. Now, this is their site, right? Again, another quick site from the ADL. Who are the primary groups behind the U.S. anti-Israel rallies? Right? Now, they got different groups that are going against Israel, right? The Israelis. Now, there's a few of them, right? Students for Justice in Palestine, the Amalekite Voice of Peace, Palestinian Youth Movement, USPCN, right? American Muslims for Palestine. Now, check out what the American Muslims for Palestine say, right? They are a Chicago-based anti-Israel and anti-Zionist activist organization whose leaders have promoted violence, and this is the same thing they say about us, against Israel. The denigration of Zionism and Zionists, and at times classic anti-Semitic tropes. In a September 2021 interview with Jordan Yarmouk's TV, AMP executive director Osama Abushayed said, Israel, here's his quote, right? Israel today is a case of parasite living off the American body. You see that? Because they get funded by these Babylonians. In 2018, he embraced the anti-Semitic Khazar theory, saying the Amalekite people today are not the descendants. The overwhelming majority are not of the descendants of the ancient Israelites. They're not. They're from the Jews of Khazaria, south of Russia. You see that? So he's saying the same thing that we put out there, right? Because we know that they're not the true people of the Most High. But these people, the American Muslims for Palestine, they're not Israelites, man. But they're saying the same thing. And they're shutting down these riots, man. They're arresting these Palestinian riots. They're coming after these groups, right? They're damn near kick the door down. They're banning them in other countries. If you're protesting for Palestine in other countries, it's banned. You're going to jail. You're getting arrested. If you have this kind of speech, that kind of rhetoric, is banned, and you're going to jail, man. They're already banning it in other countries. So if you're putting rhetoric out there that these aren't the real Jews, and you're out there in some public setting, and they'll ban that, man. They may put that decree in Babylon as a as a weapon to destroy the ministry. Remember, it's all about attacking the ministry. Right? Let me get a quick precept on that. It's all about coming against the ministry. Right? This is the classic. This is John chapter 16 and 1. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. So brothers can't get offended at this. Oh, wow. Oh, man, Jacob's trouble. Oh, this thing is real. Wow. And yet this thing is real, man. You eat the honey, and it was in your mouth. You eat the roll, and it was in your mouth sweet as honey, but in your belly, it becomes bitter. But you can't get offended when it's bitter. You have to embrace this. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth the Most High service. That's how bad it's going to get. People are going to attempt to kill you and or do so, and in their mind, they're thinking they're doing the Most High service. They're thinking they're doing the right thing. Getting rid of the Hebrew Israelites. Getting rid of anybody that's against the so-called Jew in America and what they stand for. Guess what, man? If they get rid of you, they're doing God's service, because America is a nation that fears God. This is what they say, right? In God we trust. So they're going to be moving in God's service, man. But the God of this world. And they'll kill you in the name of the so-called white man's God, Jesus, Caesar Borgias, and the Amalekites, man. And if you are against the Most High, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, then you'll be doing a service of their God. And you'll be killing, persecuting, delivering up. This thing is going to intensify. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said unto you, I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. Right. So you're hearing this now, man. So when the time does come, you got to remember that the Lord said these things, man. When they start going door to door, shutting channels down, right? Doing God, no, because this whole war is going to be predicated off of, are you pro Israel or are you against Israel? Right? They're going to be the central focal point in this great war, man. And if you're against them, then whatever's associated against the Israelis and the so-called Jews are all going to be shut down. So you'll have war brewing up, and you'll have this persecution brewing up, right? And that's this this heat map, right? Let me go back to the map real quick. Right? This is the heat map, and it has every incident, right? Every incident going on. You got it, King.
God. All praise to the Most High. Well, I'm going to get Philippians, the first chapter, right, verse number 20. It says, according to my earnest expectation and my hope that in nothing I should be ashamed. Right, so don't get ashamed that these things that are coming to pass and let it deter your faith. So a lot of brothers, they get ashamed. They get ashamed of the Lord, man. They stop confessing his name. Right? They stop teaching. They stop being in the spirit. And they're really being scared. That's what it really boils down to, your fear. Right? The Lord is not giving a man the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind. So you have to relay and get the spirit of the Most High and these things that are going to come to pass. You can't be overthrown. It says, my hope, and nothing shall I be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Christ shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death. Right? So Paul said that Yahushua has to be magnified in his body. What does that mean? That means that, I mean, no matter what's going on, that you're going to always bear the spirit of Yahushua, right? Whether you're out in the rain teaching, whether, you know, police are after you, whether you're getting physically beat for his name's sake, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to bear in your body, right? Whether by life or by death. When you read Galatians, right, chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 16, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 17. It's Galatians chapter 6 and verse 17. It says, "For henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushua." Meaning, I mean, a lot of the apostles, they had physical war wounds. Like Jake always want to show you his gunshot wounds, where he got slashed at, where he got stabbed at, man. He always want to show you how much time he got locked up for. But nobody wants to talk about that on the right-hand side. Paul said, look, I bear on my body. Meaning when you saw Paul, you could kind of see some things on him. You know, maybe a cut right here, maybe a bruise, or maybe a slash, maybe his robe, his garment kind of torn. Right? You've seen and bared in his body, you can see the marks of Yahushua. Because a lot of the apostles, they was beaten, man. They were whooped. When you read Acts, the 5th chapter, right? And they were really literally rejoicing that they were able to suffer for his name's sake. So they took that as cheerful, because that's a sign or a clear notion that you're really of the Lord when you bear the same spirit and things that came upon the apostles. So you have to see that Paul said, look, I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushua. So when Paul said, look, with all boldness, whether by life, by death, I bear in my body the marks of the Lord. Right? When you see all of these things, the apostle wasn't just teaching. It's another side to being an apostle, another side to being a teacher, and also another side to being in his truth. Because those same people that followed the Lord, you understand, you know, they were persecuted also. What happened during the siege, during the Roman Empire, man? They were dashing babies' heads against the stones, ripping, you know, babies out the womb, threshing people through. All hell was breaking loose. So, I mean, war is going to continuously be from generation to generation. So I would say get yourself ready spiritually. Now, Jacob's trouble isn't just, you know, one breakdown, or isn't just one segment. You got many sides of Jacob's trouble. I mean, you got being a pilgrim on the earth. You got famine. You got pestilence. You got World War III. You got so many things that really go into Jacob's trouble in the tribulation period that you really need to be studying prophecy to answer these questions you may have, how to move and building up faith while you're on the earth. But you got it, King.
Con. And for brothers that don't know, you may have brothers that don't know what Jacob's trouble is, right? Right. For those who may not know, Jacob's trouble is the peak of persecution, right? The peak of persecution for the Hebrew Israelites, the men, women, and children of the nation of Israel, right? It is the height and the climax of being afflicted and persecuted by Esau, his military, police department, National Guard, army, whatever military force that is sent out at that time. They will come against the brothers and sisters of this truth that fear the Most High and that keep the commandments. Let me get that verse in Revelation. Right? Now you can say, well, I'm being persecuted. My God fired me. No, that's not what we're talking about, man. Right? It's not talking about that. This is going to be beyond that. This is Revelation chapter 12 and 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So the dragon is the Roman Empire. The modern day Roman Empire is Babylon the Great. They're with NATO and the EU, but they're the modern day dragon. And they're making war. This war is not going to be in the Middle East that the dragon makes against the woman. That war is not going to be out there in Syria or Israel. This war between the dragon and the woman is the war between Esau that he makes against the brothers and sisters in his truth. So war is coming, right? That's a domestic war, right? You got international wars and foreign wars, and you have internal wars. That's a war going on internally, predominantly in Babylon the Great, but persecution will also be in other places, right? So when you go back to Jeremiah chapter 30, right, let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 30. It reads, ask ye now, 30 and 6, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So Jeremiah, The Most High told Jeremiah, look, why do you see every man in this vision like they're about to give birth, in pains, right? Confounded, right? Like a woman in travail. Alas, for that day is great. So here's the answer. So that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? So Jeremiah saw men. That's how bad it's going to be. Man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness. Right? This how bad Jacob's trouble is going to be. Right? It is the time of Jacob's trouble, but the merciful thing is he shall be saved out of it. Right? So Jacob's trouble is a time of massive persecution, but we will be saved out of it. Right? We will be saved out of it by the grace and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And there, like the brother said, man, there are many things we can go into with Jacob's trouble. The abomination of desolation, being cast into prison 10 days, being beheaded, being a pilgrim on the earth, right? Being in a famine, going through the famine, right? There are manifold things that we can't go into, but we're showing you through prophecy how World War III and Jacob's trouble are going to meet. They're going to meet. Even the Lord said, after the third trumpet, the sun shall shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day, paraphrasing. Right? And you'll be having persecution happen. As World War III is happening, and you lose visibility due to power being shut down and economic collapse and not being able to be on your phone and internet, while you're in Jacob's trouble, war is going to be kicking off. And you may not be able to see everything and get updates, man. You just got to know prophetically, hey, look, war is happening out there. And Yahweh Shah can return as a thief in the night. That's when things really pick up. When Jacob's trouble really pick off and you lose visibility about what's going on in the earth, that thief in the night becomes that much more louder and that much more magnified, because you're not going to know what's going on. You just know at any given second, hey, it can go down. Right? So that's why brothers have to watch. That's why Yahweh Shah said, as in the days of Noah, or as in the days of Lot, they ate, they drank, they married. Or in the days of Lot, they builded, they planted, they sold. Right? Until the day that Lot left the city and fire rained on them all. Man. What you got it, King?
God, that's a mighty point, because you're most definitely not going to know, you understand what's going on. If you don't have internet, phone, not going to be able to call nobody, get on the internet, see what's going on with the videos. Right now, you got Twitter, you got all of these outlets. But in that day, if you're not ready, right, you're going to get caught, right, like a thief in the night. Right, let me bring out this precept. Right, Revelation chapter 2. Did you add something after this, King? Okay, come on. I'm going to bring out my closing precept after this precept. But this Revelation chapter 2 and verse number 10, right, and it reads, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So the Lord is telling you that you're going to suffer, man. You're going to catch hell. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. You have to mentally prepare yourself for this. Fear none of those things, because the things you're going to see are worse than things you're going to see on the TV, man. What do they do when they grab up somebody from a different state, a different country? They torture them, right? They drown them, put them in the lake, they lift them back up, they cut on all type of fire, and they burn their skin, right? They take all type of nails and push them in. When you read the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it said, let us prove him, whether he be the son of God, paraphrasing greatly, man. Because he maketh his boast that God is his father. So Esau is going to be trying to prove you. Is he really in this thing? Is he really the son of God? Right? He's going to be torturing you, right? Whether that be mentally, physically, grabbing you up, putting you in prison. You haven't eaten in 4 days, right? It's going to get extremely brutal. But nevertheless, even though Jeremiah was in the dungeon, the Lord still delivered him. Even though these men were in these troublous situations like Daniel in the lion's den, the Most High still brought him out of it. Daniel was in the lion's den. Now, those lions were purposely not fed so that they could devour Daniel. But Daniel, his innocency saved him. Meaning in a state of him being like imperfect, right? The Lord literally saved him because he was perfect. And he had innocency in him, huh? So you got to move in a spirit to where you don't have any God. nothing to be taken that could be held against you in that day, right? Because arms are going to deliver you from death, right? Read the scriptures. Know the things that you need to do to be saved and protected. You can't just know it's a storm coming and you have no idea what jackets are warm, what fleece, what materials, what type of umbrellas you need, what type of warm gloves or boots, what different tactics and things you need to do to stay warm, right? I mean, even a man in this world would know how to keep himself warm with scarves, right? All type of long johns and underclothes. You got to spiritually get yourself ready and pack on faith, right? It's likened unto clothing when you read the book of Ephesians, right? You got a helmet, you got the sword. We got all these things that you have to put on to protect yourself in that evil day against the devil and his angels, right? It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And the Lord called him the devil. Why is he called the devil? Because he's an adversary. He comes against everything that is righteous. And he's a stumbling block in the way of you learning the truth, your nationality, you coming to the Lord, right? You praying, you reading, you fasting, right? You having peace. He is the devil, right? If that offends you, then you're offended in the Most High. It said, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Meaning some of you are going to go to prison route. Some of you just going to be, murdered in the streets. The Lord said, he would not, and I'm going to just grab this quick precept. So if you're wondering, am I going to die in a famine? And no, the Lord's going to deliver you, right? Let me get this quick precept. This, the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, and verse 3. It says, the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. So if you're literally in a state to where you haven't eaten for 3 days, just know that the Most High is going to feed you. But the rest of the wicked, they're not going to feed. They're not going to be having anything to eat. The Lord's going to destroy them. It says the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish. So no matter how bad these situations and how bad you locked up, how bad you didn't eat, it ain't going to suffer the soul of the righteous to be famished. It says that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Now 10 is a number of completion, and there's no telling how long you're going to be in this situation. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. It's all on the time of the Most High. Certain people are going to be pilgrims on the earth, while certain people are going to be locked up. Certain people are going to be getting captured. Some people are going to be on the run. It's really all of the design in a cup that the Lord is going to give you to drink thereof. It says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So really, it's all said and done when you're in those chariots and being taken to the second wilderness to receive that crown, or you die a martyr for the Lord. Until then, brother, you still have a whole lot to do. You have a whole lot of work to put on. You got a whole lot of faith to conjure up and build up. You have a whole lot of reading, praying, fasting, and belief, and to hold fast into the words of the Most High. Right? Let me get this last closing precept. This Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 2, right? And it reads, be watchful. So continue to hit that refresh button. Continue to get on Twitter or whatever avenue you use, right? Maybe Google. Right? Some phones have a feature, right, where they have the latest news and different things that pop up, right? It may say top stories, right? Israel forces and airstrikes, Gaza, whatever the case may be, whatever's trending. Make sure that you keep on watch and then know what's going on the earth, and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching and being diligent, the Lord's going to visit you like a thief in the night and blow your candlestick out.
Come. And I want to put this last thing up, right? Now this is the last thing, Salakia. This is bear with me. I gotta close that up. Bear with me. Right now, what they're doing now, this is the last thing, is they're doing a heightened awareness. Right? So let me play this clip real quick.
here at home, there are concerns that some people in the U.S. might be inspired by the events in Israel to act out here.
Yeah, we want to show you a live look at the White House this morning.
Hold on.
Well, meanwhile, here at home,
Now this is 2 weeks ago.
there are concerns that some people in the U.S. might be inspired by the events in Israel to act out here.
Yeah, we want to show you a live look at the White House this morning. You can see it's lit up in the Israeli flag colors, blue and white, to underscore our country's solidarity with Israel. The Anti-Defamation League said
They said our country is in solidarity with Israel. So if you go against Israel, you go against America. If you speak up against the Amalekites, you speak up against America and what they stand for.
look at the White House this morning. You can see it's lit up in the Israeli flag colors, blue and white, to underscore our country's solidarity with Israel. The Anti-Defamation League says it immediately began working with U.S. law enforcement agencies to monitor potential threats. We heard the chief talk about that moments ago. Let's check in with Adam Tuss, who continues our coverage live from the Israel.
And there's something called a false flag. If you don't know what it is, take your time to look it up.
Embassy in the district. Adam, good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, Tony. Yeah, the Anti-Defamation League says it knew it had to get to work pretty quickly once this conflict began, because there have been instances of hate, racial bias, all that stuff that could spill out of this. Now, take a look. You really don't have to go that far back in our region to find some of these cases. Take Montgomery County Public Schools, for instance, where there was a significant increase in hate incidents, a lot of them involving swastikas. This was between
And I looked it up. They said Maryland has the highest amount of anti-Semitic incidents
between 2021 and 2022. And then if you go back to December 2022, the words "Jews not welcome" spray painted on the message board outside of Walt Whitman High School in Bethesda. That was just 2 days before the first night of Hanukkah. So let's hear from the Anti-Defamation League about all this.
The state of Maryland as a whole was the 10th highest of anti-Semitic incidents in 2022. So out of the whole country, the state of Maryland, and a majority of that was in Montgomery County.
You see that? 10th highest.
Of the whole country, the state of Maryland, and a majority of that was in Montgomery County.
Yeah, you know, we've been talking a whole lot about the increased stepped up patrols that's going on. I can tell you here outside the Israeli embassy, there have been security sweeps this morning. They're asking us not to film those. So you can sense that heightened sense of awareness around here, and especially around Jewish places of worship and community centers. We're seeing.
Right. So that's pretty much that, man. Right. I want to bring that last thing out. So, you know, you see what's going on, man. I mean, you see what's going on. The Lord said that he requires that which is past. That's what Nero did. Nero did a false flag. He burned down, I believe, a third of Rome, and he blamed it on the Israelites, man. And it led to a massive persecution. He did the same thing. So you got to, you know, be aware of these things and be watchful of what these devils may potentially do, and keep your faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Let me get Revelation chapter 22 and 12. Right? Revelation chapter 22 and 12. And don't get tempted, man. These devils, they're looking for a reason. A lot of jakes, especially brothers that go to camp, man. Well, let's just go. Let's do this. Let's do it. Then you're trying to force the hand of the Most High. Right? This Revelation chapter. Then you have agent provocateurs to try to stir brothers up to do God knows what, man. Right? This Revelation 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So Yahweh Shah said he's coming quickly, like a thief in the night. Prophecies are unfolding. Keep watch of what the Most High is doing on the earth. The Lord said, yet a little slumber, a little folding of the hands, man. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man, paraphrasing. So if you nodding off and your eyes getting heavy, time to wake up, man. Ain't no time for your eyes to be getting heavy. And a lot of brothers, you don't fight that sleep. You gotta fight that sleep, man. You gotta fight. Even the apostles, the Lord said, what? Could you not, Yahweh Shah said, what? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? You can't watch with the Lord 1 hour. The Lord is watching. You can't watch and stay up with the Lord. The Lord got the angels watching. Why don't you watch with him, man? Don't fall asleep on the Lord. He was already vexed when they couldn't watch with him, man. Don't repeat that same mistake, man. Watch with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, even if the night, it's the damn fourth watch of the night, man. You know? But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. Ba'Shem Yahushua. We'll take questions like we always do. Akim or Akwath can tune in. Salakia, you can tune in to the conference call Q&A if you have any questions. And we'll also do Q&As throughout the week. Keep that in mind. Keep watching the prophecies. Stay on fire. Be diligent. With that, we're going to close up. The number is 203-603-9096. Right? 203-603-9096 for those who have questions. The PIN number is 94809. That, Brother Naquam.
Shalom, brother. Right.
Kwam Yashalom. Shalom.